The salvage ship drifted in the silent dark of space, its engines humming like a lonely voice in the void. For weeks, the crew had found nothing but broken satellites and dead cargo containers. Their food was running low and tempers were sharp like knives. But then the scanner beeped. The screen showed something strange inside an asteroid made of pure ice. At first, the crew thought it was only another rock. Nothing valuable, but then the outline grew clearer, and everyone leaned closer. It was not a rock. It was a shape. A humanoid figure trapped deep inside the frozen crystal. The body looked almost like a woman, tall and slender. Her hair floated around her like strands of silver locked in time. The crew gasped. No one had ever seen such a thing. The galaxy was wide, full of mysteries, but to find a body inside an asteroid, this was beyond belief. Some thought it was treasure, maybe a preserved alien relic worth a fortune. Others whispered that it could be a trap. A curse from deep space. Elias, a quiet man with tired eyes, stood at the back. He was not the captain, not even the strongest worker. But as he stared at the frozen woman, something stirred inside him. He could not look away. It felt as if she was watching him, even though her eyes were closed. The captain laughed nervously. "Sell the ice, keep the body. Make rich buyers fight for it," the others agreed. Their voices were full of greed. They saw money, not mystery, but Elias felt different. He felt something heavy in his chest, a weight he could not explain. They cut a piece of the asteroid and brought it inside the ship. The frozen figure shone under the harsh light. Her skin was pale like moonstone, her face calm, almost royal. She looked as if she was only sleeping, waiting for someone to wake her. At night, when the others argued about how much money she was worth, Elias stayed near the ice. He placed his hand against the cold surface, and for a moment he thought he felt a faint vibration. His heart raced. Could she be alive? It was impossible. The ship's medic ran a scanner over the body. His hands trembled. This cannot be," he whispered. The numbers showed something no one believed. A heartbeat, slow and weak, but there, the woman was not dead. Fear spread among the crew. "If she lives, then she belongs to her people, not to us," one said. "What if her kind comes looking for her?" Another argued. The captain silenced them. "Alive or dead, she is still ours. She will make us rich." Elias clenched his fists. His mind screamed that this was wrong. She was not an object to be sold. She was alive, someone lost in time. He looked at her face again, and in the quiet hum of the ship, he thought he heard a whisper. Not with his ears, but with his soul. Sleep did not come to him. He lay awake, his thoughts burning. If the captain sold her, she would die in a laboratory. Cut apart by greedy hands, he imagined her eyes opening, only to see chains around her. That vision broke him the next day. The crew argued louder. Some wanted to keep her. Some wanted to throw her back into space. Their fear grew stronger with every hour. Elias watched them fight, and inside his chest, a decision began to form. Late at night, while the others drank and laughed, Elias stood before the block of ice. His hands shook, his lips were dry. He whispered to her, "I don't know who you are, but I cannot let them hurt you." His voice cracked, but his eyes were firm. He moved quickly. Stealing a small transport pod, he pushed the block of ice inside. His heart pounded as alarms blinked red. The captain's angry voice echoed behind him. "Elias, what are you doing?" Shots rang out, the ship shook. But Elias launched the pod into the void. The stars swallowed him. The great silence of space wrapped around him. He was alone now, alone with the frozen alien woman. He had given up his crew, his safety, his life in the fleet, all for a stranger who had not even spoken a word. The pod drifted toward a barren moon. Elias piloted it with shaking hands. He did not know what waited for him. Death, hunger, maybe capture by hunters. But one thing was clear. His choice had chained his fate to hers. As the pod landed on the dusty surface of the moon, Elias looked at the frozen figure. He felt the faint heartbeat once again through the glass. It was like a soft drum calling him deeper into mystery. He whispered, "If you live, then my life is yours." His words vanished in the silence. But something inside the ice seemed to stir. Her eyelids twitched only for a second. Elias gasped. His blood turned cold. She was not gone, she was waiting. And somewhere in the darkness of the galaxy, something else had felt her stir. The barren moon was silent. Its surface covered in gray dust and sharp rocks. Elias guided the pod into a small cave. hiding it from the eyes of hunters who might already be chasing him. The engines died with a low groan and silence returned. Inside the pod, the block of ice still glowed faintly under the lights. The alien woman remained frozen, her face calm, her body still. But Elias could feel it, the faint, weak heartbeat that had refused to stop. Every second it pulsed like a drum of fate. He sat beside the ice, his hands trembling. His crew would never forgive him. The captain would send a signal to the authorities, maybe even to Earth's fleet soon. The whole system would know what he had done. He had stolen a living alien. Elias whispered into the still air. "What have I done?" His voice echoed off the metal walls. He had traded everything, his future, his home, his safety, for her. And yet, when he looked at her face, he felt no regret, only fear of what came next. For hours he paced inside the pod. Should he try to free her from the ice? What if she attacked him? What if she wasn't kind? What if she hated humans? His mind spun with questions, but one truth always rose above the rest. If he did nothing, she would die. The pod's systems beeped. The ice around her was starting to melt. Elias had set the temperature higher, hoping to keep her alive, but it meant she would soon wake. His heart pounded harder. He had no weapons, no plan, no allies. When the first crack formed in the ice, the sound was sharp. Elias froze in fear. He leaned closer, watching as thin lines spread across the frozen shell. The woman's hand twitched only slightly, but enough to make him step back. He wanted to run, but where could he go? This cave, this pod, this alien, this was his world now. He forced himself to stand still, to watch, to wait. Another crack. This time her lips moved. Barely visible under the ice, a breath escaped. White against the cold air, Elias whispered. "You're alive!" His voice shook. The ice split wider. A piece fell to the floor with a heavy thud. Water pooled across the metal surface. The alien's eyes snapped open. Glowing faintly like stars, Elias gasped. They were not human eyes. They were deep silver. Endless, the woman coughed, her body shaking. Elias rushed forward without thinking. He pulled her gently from the melting block. Her skin was cold as stone. But soft under his hands, she gasped for air. Her chest rising and falling, she spoke. But her words were strange, musical. Unlike any language he had ever heard, Elias shook his head. I don't understand." She stared at him. Fear flashing in her eyes, she tried to pull away. But her body was too weak. Elias raised his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. "You are safe. I won't hurt you." His voice was calm, though his heart thundered like a storm. She stopped struggling, only watching him with suspicion. Her breathing steadied. He brought her a blanket from the pod's storage, wrapping it around her trembling body. She stared at it like she didn't know what it was. Her silver eyes locked on his, and in that moment, something passed between them. Trust, fragile but real. Hours passed. She spoke again in her alien tongue, and slowly, a few words began to sound clearer. Elias pointed at himself. "Elias," he said, tapping his chest. She tilted her head, her lips moving clumsily. As it was broken, but it was a start. She touched her own chest weakly, whispering something soft. "It sounded like Sirenia," Elias repeated. "Sirenia." She nodded once, her eyes closing with exhaustion. As she slept, Elias sat nearby. His thoughts were fire. Who was she? Why was she frozen? Why had fate chosen him to find her? He had no answers, only the weight of his decision. Then, the pod's sensors screamed. A red light flashed on the screen. Elias rushed to check. His blood froze. A signal had been sent, not by him, not by the pod. But from her body itself, some kind of hidden beacon had activated the moment she woke. Somewhere out in the stars, someone or something now knew she was alive. Elias gripped the controls. Panic swirled in his chest. If they found her, they would take her. If they found him, they would kill him. He looked at Sirenia sleeping, fragile and helpless. He whispered, "They will come for you." His jaw tightened. "But they will have to go through me first." Outside the cave, the dark sky shimmered far away. Engines roared in the void. Hunters were already on their way, and in the silence of the pod, Sirenia's silver eyes opened again, glowing brighter, as if she already knew what danger was coming. The cave shook with a low rumble. Elias pressed his ear against the cold metal wall of the pod. Somewhere above, engines passed in the distance. Hunters were searching. They had already sensed the signal that came from Sirenia's body. Inside the pod, Sirenia stirred. Her silver eyes glowed faintly. She was weak but no longer frozen. Her breath came steady now. Every time Elias looked at her, he felt a strange mix of fear and wonder. She was alive, truly alive. She tried to speak. Her words were soft, musical, and full of meaning he could not understand. Elias shook his head. "I don't know your words," he whispered. He tapped his chest. "Elias." She blinked at him, then repeated, Elias. Her voice was smooth yet broken, fragile like glass. Still, hearing her speak his name sent a chill down his spine. She pointed at herself weakly. "Serenia," she whispered. Elias nodded. "Serenia." Hours passed as she regained her strength. Elias gave her water, soft food from the pod's storage. She ate slowly, her hands trembling. Her eyes kept scanning the walls, the roof, the controls. It was clear she had known ships before. She was not a stranger to technology, but sometimes her gaze turned sharp. She would freeze and whisper words Elias did not know. Her silver eyes glowing stronger when she did once when he tried to touch her arm. Her skin sparked like fire against his. Elias pulled back with a hiss of pain. A black mark burned on his palm. Serenia's eyes widened in fear. She spoke quickly, shaking her head. She reached out to his hand, her fingers brushed the burn. And to his shock, the pain eased. The mark faded like smoke. Elias stared at her in silence. She had power, something beyond human understanding. Outside, the scanners beeped again. A ship passed close to the moon. Elias turned the lights low, holding his breath. Serenia tilted her head as if she could feel the engines through the walls. Her silver eyes narrowed. For a moment she whispered in her strange tongue. Her voice like a prayer, Elias asked softly. "Are they searching for you?" She looked at him and nodded once. Slowly, his heart sank. He had already known, but hearing it confirmed his fear. Whoever had frozen her would not let her go so easily. The night stretched long. Elias could not sleep. He kept staring at her. Every detail of her face was perfect, calm yet filled with mystery. Who was she really? Why had she been trapped in ice? Was she a criminal? A queen? A soldier? He didn't know. Serenia woke again and tried to stand. Her legs were weak. She stumbled. Elias caught her before she fell. For a brief moment she leaned against him. Her hand on his chest, her touch was warmer now. She looked into his eyes and he felt something pass between them. Something unspoken. She whispered a word. He could not understand it. But the sound was filled with sorrow. Elias wished he could answer, but he was only a man with simple words. Instead, he said softly, "You are safe with me." Her lips moved again. Slowly, carefully, she struggled with the words. "Safe. With Elias?" The way she said it made his chest tighten.
He had never heard his name sound like that before.
Suddenly, the pod shook. Dust rained from the roof of the cave. Elias jumped to the controls. The scanner showed a new signal. A ship was landing not far away. His heart pounded. They had found them. He turned to Serenia. "We must hide." She looked at him. Her silver eyes sharp now. No longer weak or lost. For the first time, Elias saw strength returning to her. She whispered, "No, fight." Before he could argue, she raised her hand. Sparks of silver energy danced across her skin. The air crackled. Elias stared in shock. Her power lit the dark cave like lightning trapped in her palm. The ground trembled. Footsteps echoed from outside. Voices shouted in a harsh alien tongue. Hunters had entered the cave. Elias grabbed an old rifle from the pod, his hands shaking. He knew it would not be enough. The first shadow appeared in the cave entrance. A tall figure in black armor, helmet glowing with red light. A hunter armed and ready. Elias aimed his rifle, but before he could fire, Serenia stepped forward. Her silver eyes burned like twin stars. She lifted her hand and a wave of energy burst out. The armored hunter slammed against the wall with a scream. His weapon flying from his grip, Elias froze. His rifle slipped from his hands. He had never seen such raw power. Serenia staggered, her body weak from the effort. Elias rushed to catch her as she fell. Her head rested against his chest. Her whisper was soft, broken English. "More. Coming." The cave echoed with more footsteps. More voices, more shadows. Elias lifted her into his arms. His mind screamed in panic. They were outnumbered. Trapped. Doomed. And yet, as her silver eyes flickered open again, glowing brighter than before, Elias knew something deeper. She was not just a lost woman. She was something far greater, and whoever wanted her back would not stop until they had burned everything in their way. The cave filled with shadows. More hunters stepped inside, their boots heavy on the stone. Their red visors glowed in the dark, weapons raised. Elias tightened his grip on the old rifle. His hands shook, his mind screamed that it was useless. But he had nothing else. Serenia leaned against the wall, her silver eyes glowing brighter with each breath. She raised one weak hand. Sparks of energy danced between her fingers. Elias whispered, "Don't, you're too weak." But she did not listen. A wave of silver light burst outward. The cave shook. Hunters were thrown back against the walls. Their weapons clattered across the floor. Dust rained from the ceiling. Elias coughed and pulled Serenia close. He felt her body trembling. She could not hold her power long. He knew it, they had to escape. "Come on," he whispered, grabbing her hand. He pulled her toward the pod, but more hunters poured in through the entrance. Their voices shouted in harsh alien tones. Orders, threats, commands Elias couldn't understand. But the danger was clear. He fired the rifle. A weak shot sparked against a hunter's armor. Doing little still, it made them pause. Serenia raised her hand again. Her silver light flashed, knocking one to the ground. But each attack drained her. Elias could see the exhaustion in her face. The pod shook as energy blasts struck the cave. The hunters had called in support from outside. Elias dragged Serenia into the pod. He slammed the hatch closed and rushed to the controls. "Hold on," he whispered. His hands danced across the switches. The pod roared to life. Outside, engines screamed. Fire lit the cave as the pod lifted. Dust and rocks tumbled around them. Elias forced the thrusters higher. The pod shot into the dark sky. Hunters fired from below, red bolts streaking past the hull. Metal groaned, alarms wailed. Serenia clutched the seat. Her eyes closed. Her lips moved, whispering words Elias did not know. For a moment, the pod seemed to shield itself with a faint glow. Shots bent away, energy split in the air. Elias glanced at her. She was protecting them, even in her weakness. The pod broke free from the moon's pull. Stars opened before them, but danger was not gone. A hunter ship rose from the far side of the moon. Engines flaring. Its cannons glowed red, ready to fire. Elias cursed under his breath. "We can't outrun them." He twisted the controls. The pod dove through an asteroid field. Rocks spun all around them. Some big as mountains, some sharp as blades. The hunter ship followed close. Blasts lit the darkness, asteroids cracked apart. The pod weaved left, right, up, down, scraping past stone. Elias's eyes burned from the strain. He pushed the small vessel harder than it was built to go. The hull creaked, alarms screamed, but still he fought to keep them alive. Serenia opened her eyes, her voice was faint. "Elias," he glanced at her. "Stay awake," he shouted. "Don't give up now." She lifted a weak hand toward the window. Silver light spread outward. A nearby asteroid split into two pieces. The hunter ship slammed into the fragments. Spinning wildly, Elias gasped. He could hardly believe what he had seen. Serenia fell back into the seat, her strength fading. "Rest," he whispered. "I'll take it from here." But the scanner beeped again. His stomach dropped. Not one hunter ship, 3 more. Rising from the black void ahead, the trap was already set. They had been waiting. Elias clenched his jaw. His pod was too small, too weak. He could never fight them, and yet he could not surrender her. His eyes darted across the asteroid field, searching. Then he saw it, a shadow in the rocks, an old mining station long abandoned, its structure half broken. But still standing, he pushed the controls. The pod dived toward the broken station. The hunter ships followed, red lights flashing. The pod slammed into a docking bay with a screech of metal. Elias dragged Serenia out. She leaned on him, barely able to walk. The air inside the station was thin, cold, but still breathable. Dust covered the walls, the place was dead. But dead places could hide the living. Elias pulled her through the narrow halls. The station groaned under old wounds. Pipes leaked gas, wires sparked. Shadows stretched long. Behind them, the hunters landed. Heavy boots struck metal. Their voices echoed. They were hunting. Serenia stumbled. Elias caught her. Her silver eyes glowed faintly. She whispered, "They will not stop." Elias nodded. "Then neither will I." He pulled her into a control room. The panel still had some power. Lights flickered. He searched for something. Anything, a map, a vent, an escape path. His hands trembled as he worked. Serenia sat in the corner, her chest rising and falling. Her strength nearly gone. Then the lights turned red. A voice echoed through the broken station, distorted but clear. It was the hunter. "Commander, human," it said. "You cannot keep her. Return her to us." or your earth will burn." Elias froze, his blood turned cold. They knew. They knew where he came from, his planet, his people. They were not just after Serenia. They were ready to destroy everything he had ever known. He looked at Serenia, weak but watching him with silver eyes. He thought of Earth, of billions of humans who had no idea what danger approached. The hunter's boots grew louder, closer. Metal groaned as they forced doors open. Elias gripped the edge of the console. His jaw tightened. His heart screamed with fear. But he knew one thing, his choice was already made. He would not give her up. Not to them, not to anyone. And far away beyond the stars, Earth hung in silence. Unaware of the storm now racing toward it, the broken mining station groaned under its own weight. Dust fell from the ceiling. Metal walls echoed with the heavy steps of hunters moving closer. Elias pressed his back against the cold console. His rifle shook in his hands, but he kept it ready. The commander's voice boomed again, carried through the speakers of the ruined station. "Human, surrender the woman to us. She does not belong to you. Give her back. And Earth will be spared." Elias felt his stomach twist. The word Earth burned in his mind. They knew where he came from. They knew what world had raised him. And now they used it like a weapon, threatening billions of lives. Serenia sat against the wall, her silver eyes dim with weakness but sharp with awareness. She looked at Elias and whispered, her voice broken but clear, "They will kill you. They will kill your world." Elias turned toward her. "And if I give you to them, what will they do to you?" His voice cracked. He already knew the answer. He had seen enough of the hunters to understand. She would be caged, dissected, destroyed. Her silence confirmed it. She closed her eyes as if she had already accepted that fate. Elias clenched his fists. "No," he muttered. "Not while I'm still breathing." The commander's voice thundered once more. "You cannot protect her, human. You are weak. Fragile, small. If you resist, Earth burns. If you obey, Earth lives." The choice stabbed at Elias like a knife. His heart screamed with conflict. Billions of humans, his people, versus one alien woman he had just met. But when he looked at Serenia, trembling, broken, yet still alive, he felt something deeper than reason. She opened her eyes slowly. Her lips moved with broken English. "If I live, you lose everything." Her words were heavy. Like prophecy, Elias swallowed hard. His chest ached. The hunters forced open another door. Their boots echoed louder. They were closing in. Elias could see the red glow of their visors in the dark hallway. Time was running out. He rushed to the console again, searching the broken system for options. The maps flickered, showing forgotten tunnels. Old vents, collapsed mines, but none led to safety. The station was a tomb. Serenia spoke again. Her voice a whisper. "Elias, leave me, save your people." Her eyes glowed faintly. "I will die, you will live." Elias turned sharply. "No." His voice was hard now. "I will not trade your life for theirs." He grabbed her hand, squeezing it tight. "I'll find another way. I swear," but in his heart, fear grew stronger. Could there be another way? The hunters had fleets, armies, weapons beyond anything he could fight. If he refused them, they would destroy Earth. Millions would burn, and all because of him. The doors burst open. Hunters stormed in. Red light cut through the room. Their weapons aimed. Elias fired. His rifle spat sparks, knocking one back. But 3 more took its place. Serenia tried to rise. Her body shook. Silver energy sparked weakly from her hands. But she fell again. Elias shielded her with his own body, shouting at the hunters, "Stay back!" His voice cracked with desperation. The commander stepped forward. Taller than the rest, his black armor gleamed. His voice was cold. "Choose, human, the alien, or your people. One lives. The other dies." Elias's breath came in sharp gasps. He raised his rifle, but the commander did not flinch. The choice hung in the air, choking him. His mind screamed, his heart tore in two. Serenia whispered again, "Let me go." A tear rolled down her pale cheek. "Do not lose. Your world for me." Elias's throat tightened. He wanted to scream, to break, but something inside him hardened. He remembered her eyes when she first awoke, the way she said his name, the way she had fought to protect him even when she was dying. He lowered the rifle slowly. The hunters leaned forward, ready to take her. The commander smiled beneath the shadow of his helmet. Victory was near, but Elias's voice cut through the silence, steady and cold. "No," he said. "I will not give her to you, and I will not give you my world either." The hunters froze. Confused, the commander tilted his head. You cannot stop us. Human. Elias's eyes burned with fire. Then you will learn, he said, that humans don't surrender, not to you. Not to anyone. He slammed his hand on the console, triggering the station's emergency system. Alarms wailed. Red lights flashed. Old reactors groaned to life. The floor shook violently. The commander shouted orders. Hunters turned in panic. The station was about to collapse. Elias pulled Serenia into his arms and ran toward the service tunnels. Metal screamed. Fire burst from the walls behind them. The commander's voice roared in fury. You have chosen death for all of you, human. The tunnels twisted like veins in the dark. Elias carried Serenia, his body aching, his heart pounded. But in that storm of fire and ruin, one truth was clear. He had made his choice. He would not give her up. Not to save himself, not even to save Earth. He would find another way. He had to. Above them, the stars waited, silent witnesses to the impossible path Elias had chosen. And far away, the hunters' fleets began to move toward Earth. Engines burning like a storm of fire across the night sky. The mining station burned like a dying star. Explosions ripped through its metal veins. Walls collapsed. Smoke filled the air. Elias dragged Serenia through the narrow tunnel. His lungs ached, his arms screamed with pain. But he did not stop. Behind them, hunters shouted, their armored boots striking against steel. The commander's voice thundered above the chaos. Run if you wish, human. But you cannot escape your fate. Elias stumbled into a docking bay. Half of it had collapsed. Ships lay broken and silent. But in the corner, hidden under fallen beams, a small shuttle waited. Its lights flickered weakly, barely alive. Elias pulled Serenia toward it. Hold on, he whispered. Just a little longer. Serenia's silver eyes opened halfway. She was pale, trembling, her voice was faint. Elias, leave me, you. Survive. He shook his head fiercely. No. Don't ask me that again. He pulled her into the shuttle, slammed the hatch shut and forced the engines to life. They coughed, sputtered, then roared. The shuttle tore free from the collapsing station, rising into the dark, but freedom was short ahead. The hunter's fleet filled the stars, dozens of warships, cannons glowing red, engines burning like fire, and beyond them, Elias could almost imagine Earth, spinning quiet and blind, unaware of the storm racing toward it. Alarms wailed. The shuttle was too small, too weak. He could never fight them. And yet, he had already made his choice. He would not surrender Serenia. He would not surrender Earth. He had only one path left, sacrifice. He turned to her, his face hard. Listen to me, he said. I'm going to distract them. They want me. Not you. Her silver eyes widened. She shook her head weakly. No, I will not let you die. Elias smiled faintly, though his heart cracked inside. You saved me once. Now it's my turn. He reached for the shuttle's controls, setting a course straight into the heart of the fleet. Serenia grabbed his hand. Her touch sparked with silver fire. I will not lose you, Elias. Her voice broke. You do not understand. I am the last of my kind. If you die, I am alone again. Her words stabbed into him. But still he pushed forward. Better me than Earth, he said. Better me than billions of innocent people. The fleet ahead moved into formation. Their cannons charged. The commander's voice filled the comms. Cold and cruel. You cannot win, human. Your courage is meaningless. Elias pressed the throttle. The shuttle screamed forward. Hunters fired, red bolts tearing past. Shaking the hull, he gritted his teeth. If I must die, I'll make sure it counts. But then Serenia rose from her seat, her body shaking, her silver eyes burning brighter than ever before. She placed both hands on the window. Facing the enemy fleet, her voice rang like a song. Words in her alien tongue, the air crackled with power. Silver light exploded from her body, spreading like wings across the void. The hunter's shots bent away, curving into nothing. Elias shielded his eyes from the brilliance. When he looked again, Serenia was glowing like a star. She turned to him, tears streaming down her face. Her broken English cut through the roar. You gave up everything for me, now I give for you. Before he could stop her, she stepped forward. Her body dissolved into pure light. It spread across the shuttle, through the hull, into the empty dark. The hunter's fleet faltered. Their cannons failed, their engines stuttered. One by one, their ships lost power. The commander shouted in fury. But his voice was drowned by the storm of silver energy wrapping around them. Elias reached out, screaming, Serenia, no! But his hands caught only light. It passed through him, warm and soft. Like a final embrace, the fleet burned with silver fire. Some ships shattered, some drifted powerless. The stars shook with her sacrifice. And then silence, the light faded, the void swallowed her. The shuttle drifted alone. Elias fell to his knees, his chest hollow, his eyes burned with tears. She was gone, but then a whisper, soft and broken, brushed against his mind. Not through sound, but through something deeper. Elias, live, his breath caught. Was it real, or only the echo of his grief? He did not know. He only knew the truth. Serenia had given everything. She had burned her soul to save him and to save Earth. But as he looked at the wreckage of the fleet, his heart sank. The battle was not over. The commander's flagship still stood, larger than the rest, untouched by her light. Its cannons turned toward the shuttle, the comms hissed. The commander's voice was sharp with rage. You think her sacrifice has saved you? No, human. It has only delayed your doom. We will finish what we began. Earth will still burn. Elias clenched his fists. His body shook with rage. Serenia had given everything. He would not let it be for nothing. His eyes blazed, his voice was low but steady. Then come for me, he whispered, and see what one human can do. The flagship's engines roared. The stars trembled. The final fight had begun. The wreckage of the battle floated across the stars. Broken ships drifted like dead giants. Fires burned in the void, glowing red against the black. But one vessel still lived, towering above the ruins, the commander's flagship. Elias sat in the shuttle, his hands shaking on the controls. Serenia's light was gone, her body gone, her sacrifice still fresh in his heart. The whisper of her voice echoed in his mind. Elias, live. It burned like a promise he could not break. The comms hissed with the commander's voice, sharp and cruel. Human, you have lost. The alien is gone. Your world is next. Your courage is meaningless against the will of empires. Elias's chest burned with fury. He had nothing left but rage. Nothing left but her memory. He whispered under his breath, You're wrong. His eyes narrowed. She gave me something greater than your empire will ever understand. The flagship's cannons lit up, charging with fire that could tear a planet apart. Elias gripped the shuttle's throttle. The small craft was a shadow compared to the massive ship. But he no longer cared. He had given up everything, and he would give more. The shuttle roared forward. Weaving between burning debris, the flagship fired. Blasts tore through the void. Shaking the shuttle, Elias held steady, every muscle screaming. Every second brought him closer. Inside the flagship, the commander watched with cold amusement. To him, Elias was nothing more than a fly charging a mountain. But still the human came, fearless, relentless. The shuttle scraped past wreckage. Sparks lit the cabin. Elias's breath came heavy. His eyes locked on the enemy vessel. His voice whispered into the silence. For Serenia. Then something strange, a glow filled the cabin. Soft, silver, Elias froze, his heart raced. Serenia's light, faint but real, wrapped around him. Her whisper brushed his mind again. Elias, not alone. Tears stung his eyes, his chest filled with fire. She was gone, but not truly. A piece of her remained. Within him, around him, guiding him. The shuttle's systems flickered. Strengthened, silver light bled into the circuits. The shuttle moved faster, sharper, as if alive. Elias gasped. You're still here, the engines screamed, powered by something beyond human science. Serenia's gift, her final bond. The commander's calm cracked. Impossible, he snarled, his cannons fired again. But the silver light bent the blasts away, curving them into the void. The shuttle tore through the storm untouched. Elias roared as he pushed forward. His eyes burned with fury and love. This ends now. The shuttle dove into the flagship's defenses. Weaving through fire, every bolt missed, every strike bent. The hunters inside shouted in panic. The commander stood tall, his voice cold. You cannot destroy me, human. I am endless. You are nothing. But Elias's voice cut through, filled with steel. Maybe I am nothing, maybe I am only a man. But I am the man who stood when no one else would. His hand slammed the controls. The shuttle locked onto the flagship's core. The ship's alarm screamed. Hunters scrambled. The commander's rage echoed across the comms. If you do this, you will die. Elias's voice was calm now, almost gentle. I already gave up my life the moment I chose her. His eyes softened. His whisper was for Serenia alone. And I don't regret it. The shuttle pierced through the flagship's hull. Silver light exploded across the dark. The impact tore through metal and fire. A chain reaction ripped inside the massive ship. Its engines burst, its weapons shattered. Its core glowed white before collapsing into silence. The commander's final scream echoed, then vanished. The flagship broke apart. Swallowed by the void, silence returned to the stars. The battlefield was still, only drifting wreckage remained. Elias floated in the shattered shuttle, smoke filling the cabin. His body was weak, blood on his forehead. But he was alive, barely. He lifted his head. Staring at the stars, his lips trembled. It's over. Then the silver glow returned, soft and gentle, wrapping him in warmth. His chest rose and fell. He closed his eyes. Serenya's whisper brushed his soul one last time. Together, tears slid down his cheeks. He let them fall. In that moment, he felt no fear. No pain, only peace. The shuttle drifted silent. A beacon from Earth picked up the signal. Rescue ships were on the way. Humanity would survive. They would learn the story. They would know of the battle, the sacrifice, the bond between a human and an alien queen. Legends would spread across the stars. They would speak of Elias, the human who gave up everything for a frozen alien woman. They would speak of Serenya, the last of her kind, who gave her light to save a world not her own. And they would whisper of their destiny, how one human and one alien had changed the fate of empires, proving that in the vast dark of space, humanity was never weak. Humanity was different, humanity was special,